Hey guys, pull up your seats and pull up your plates. We're gonna eat lunch with Yeomans of Tampa, but we're really gonna talk about conflict. How do we solve it as Christians and believers, and how do we stand our ground and not be doormats? Let's roll. Hey everyone, welcome to the Pastor's Hangover. I'm Melissa, and I get to chat with the teaching team at Grace Family Church today. Pastor Hal Mayer.
Hello, hello.
Pastor Craig Altman.
Oh, yes. Good day today.
Pastor Daryl Black.
There is food on the table.
From Yeomans with Megan. Thank you, Megan. Come on.
Incredible.
Wow, that's really good.
It's
If there's
incredible.
Really good stuff.
One
You need to
thing-
check it out.
These men love its food.
No
Yes,
doubt.
we do.
Those
They love
wings, coconut wings, kill it. They
So
do.
we already
the-
ate. This episode sponsored by
Yes.
Yeomans of Tampa.
Thank you.
We already ate. So what was your favorite thing on the plate?
The pastrami sandwich. It's gherkin pastrami, something like that.
Yeah.
It was it's this thing right here.
Yeah.
And the hangover burger is pretty good too. There's everything on there.
And the 1-2 was to me the chicken wings and the pastrami.
Yeah.
That was really
They were
good.
coconut curry chicken wings.
Yeah, they
I've
were
never
awesome.
had them
The
before.
mac
that
and cheese
before.
was killer
Yeah.
too.
The mac. Listen, I don't talk about people's mac and cheese. There's only two people's mac and
Wow.
cheese I talk about.
Ooh.
That's my wife
Ooh.
and my mama.
There we go. This is
Whoa.
in that Trinity.
And this has made it into the conversation
Whoa.
of mac and cheeses
Come
to
on.
talk about.
Dang.
So it's
Wow.
called Philly mac and cheese.
So
That's really
wait,
good.
so by saying this though, will there be conflict later on?
Yes.
Oh no.
Oh, yes. We're
Tracy's
talking
secure
about
in her
conflict
cooking.
You know,
today.
this
Yeah.
this was made well, but there's nothing
Yeah.
like
Well.
having your wife make it with love.
Winner
There you
winner
go.
for me was they brought it to the hangover burger. So appropriate for
Yes.
us.
Yeah, for us.
Yes.
That had onion rings, fries, bacon,
Big old bacon.
egg, cheeseburger. I mean, it was like a pregnant woman's dream.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Love
Two
it, man.
patties.
So
yes.
we will
Well,
be
that's
visiting.
for two people, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. 1.5.
Shareable.
Well, let's dive in. We're going to talk today about Pastor Craig's message, 2 keys to healthy communication. We are in this Talk It Out communication series, and it just keeps getting better. You know, we
Yeah.
keep learning more about how to have hard, crucial conversations and navigate them with grace and love.
Yeah. Well, can we just start? We've talked about this before. No matter where you're at in your communication, have been bad at it, good at it, you can always start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can start somewhere. I know, Hal mentioned someone the first week. Man, I wish I'd have heard this. Well, you can start today, man. God can help you today to be a better communicator, whether it's in your marriage, with your children, on your job. But I did talk about 2 real keys, and that if you filter these 2 through your communication, it's going to help you.
Yeah.
And one is humility, humility, and the other is grace.
Yeah.
And we don't like the word humility because we think it means weak or I'm a doormat. That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah. No.
But humility actually, I mean, think about it. When you've been in a place or a group conversation and you sense someone just really showing humility as they deliver something, you gain more respect for them.
Yeah.
Not less. And what turns us off? Arrogance.
Yeah.
Because when you see arrogance, you realize they don't even want to listen.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit about humility and grace and what that looks like.
Yeah. So humility and vulnerability, let's just lean into that. What does it look like for you guys as men, as leaders? I think those are just, you're all dads, you're all head of the household, you're all, these big macho roles that allegedly,
Wow.
right? But
Yeah.
how do you guys show humility and vulnerability? What does it look like?
I think from the stage, it's sharing where we miss it. And it's
Being
funny.
real, yeah.
It's one of those things. You actually gain more people when you share when you miss it than when you share your wins.
Yeah.
Because people tend to, we do. We get along with each other more when we understand, we both missed it. We both messed up. And so humility in that. But then, in any other relationship, anytime I go into the conversation like I am the authority and I've always got it right,
Yeah.
you've already lost the conversation.
Pretty arrogant.
It is. And so it's humility in the fact that I messed up. And so I'm not coming to you as somebody that's got it perfect. I'm not coming to you as somebody that's never done it wrong, never done it wrong. I am coming to you in a way that recognizes that I am fallible, but I truly want you to understand where we're coming from.
Good point.
No, I'd struggled in the past with being vulnerable, especially on stage. I hate it. I just hate it. But he's right. The more you're able to share, people are able to see, wow, you're just like everybody else. I think humility really has a lot to do with considering somebody else, and then am I willing to learn in this room? Am I willing to learn something in this conversation? Because if you come to the table like, man, I know everything. You won't absorb anything because you've got it all together. And so humility really is like, man, how do I think about this other person? How do I consider them? How do I empathize?
Yeah.
And then what can I learn while being here?
Well, you're speaking Philippians 2, right? Consider others better than yourselves, that we got to humble and put ourselves in their shoes. I say this from a practical level. People really struggle communicating with their kids. And I was a youth pastor for 12 years. Yeah. You know one of the number one complaints kids had to me? My parents never said they were wrong or apologized. And that just creates this gap. And in any relationship, and I'll say specifically with my kids, I've said, I was really wrong. I was really harsh in that moment or that time, and I shouldn't have done that to you, or I shouldn't have put that on you. And it helped me gain respect from my kids and restore the relationship. So humility is huge in any type of conversation.
Yeah, I just was reminded of this. I had a conversation with my son about a year ago. It kind of came out of nowhere. We were talking about grades in school, and he just did not care. And one of the things that he said, he goes, well, that's easy for you to say since you were perfect in school. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, where did you get that from? He goes, I don't know. You just always got straight. I'm like, no, I didn't. That is not the case. And so when we like walk through, like, no, this is the struggles that I had, or this is where I did well, or whatever. He went, oh, and we had a great conversation after that. But when the thought was, oh, you think you're perfect or everything, there's no, you don't understand me, so I can't listen to what you have to say.
No. If you have conflict and you're getting ready to have a conversation that you're trying to resolve conflict, what humility does, what it should do, instead of me thinking about my side and winning, I start thinking about their perspective. Maybe I haven't walked in their shoes. Maybe there's something, like you said earlier, I can learn that maybe I made some assumptions that I shouldn't make regarding the conflict we're in. And when you can really do that, man, it just diffuses and it can create a good, healthy conversation. But if you come in with that, I'm right, you're wrong. I don't know about you, but any conflict I've had with my wife or others, it's never 100% one person. Right. There's always something you got to own in it. And when you can own even a piece of it, it helps that conversation continue in a healthy way. But the minute you go, it's all you and you always and you never, those are two words don't use. Don't use always. You never do this. Man, that's just
never.
Never, ever. I've never
really. I've never said I love you.
But humility is a strong thing. It's not a weak thing. It's a point of security and strength.
Well, you become a better person when you can actually listen to other sides. Because once we get to the place of I already know everything, then you stop learning and stop growing. And so there is something in all of us, especially I feel like it's an American thing where when I have a side, I have to defend it like it's the ending of all endings instead of actually listening to why somebody has a different opinion or why they're doing something or why your wife saw the argument very differently than you did. And so it's actually opening myself, not necessarily that they're right, but it's a greater understanding you gain every time when you listen to the other side.
No doubt.
That's we don't talk about the value of conflict. Like I'm just listening to this conversation. Man, there's a huge. What would we be without conflict? You need conflict to get better. You need conflict to
Friction.
grow. Yeah, you need conflict to be held accountable, to know where you're missing it at. And so all conflict isn't bad.
No.
So there's good conflict to be, man, help me get to where I need to be. Confront me. Call me out. And so this great conversation.
Easy to say and hard to do, though, isn't it? Because iron sharpens iron, though. It is that sharpening that we need to have. You mentioned something earlier about consider others. It's really biblical. Philippians 2. It goes through this whole thing about humility and how Christ exemplified humility. He considered himself nothing. He came with a title but said, I don't need a title. I'm just going to be, Jesus on this earth. Consider others better than yourself.
Love yourself,
Don't be our own selfish ambition. I look at 1 Corinthians 13, and boy, you want to put that into your communication. Love is patient and kind, not self-seeking, not easily offended. Are we easily offended all the time when people share? We need to look inside. Why are you so easily offended? Because of pride? You know, there's a bad pride, I think, and a good pride,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
We feel like we live in an age where people are looking to be offended
Yeah.
Right.
by anything and everything, and so especially in conversation, I think Tracy and I, we said this years ago when we have heightened conflict, is like, is the goal to restore or to be superior?
Yeah.
Is the goal to win? Because I can win.
Yeah.
I can win the argument.
Yeah.
But is the goal to win or for us to have a resolution? What do we want to get out of this?
Right.
So let's get to the end and then work our way backwards.
And that's a position of humility.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not, I got to win.
No.
So I don't know if you guys have seen it. There's a lady out there that's a counselor has talked about this, how somewhere in the counseling realm, we got to the side of helping everybody understand their triggers instead of learning how to walk through them and deal with them. And it's this idea, like we're actually, the goal of counseling is not so we understand what we're offended by or what may trigger us. It's how do I walk through that so that I'm no longer triggered by that? How can I walk through it so that I'm stronger on the other side?
Yeah.
And that can't happen if I'm triggered by everything.
Yeah.
I can't receive anything.
Yeah.
And so we've got to learn how to listen and develop that. But yeah. It's
So Pastor Craig brought up pride, that there's a good pride and a bad pride. Talk us through that, Pastor Craig. Like, what is the difference between being prideful or, but also standing your ground, right? Like we're not, supposed to be a doormat either, but there is that fine line. So talk us through good pride.
I mean, for
and bad
me,
pride.
good pride is obvious. I'm proud of my accomplishment. That's nothing wrong with, or proud of what your son or daughter did. Bad pride is that sense of entitlement.
yeah.
Like, I can't believe they said that to me.
Yeah.
I mean, we get all in a puff because how dare they? That's not a good pride. A bad pride is that arrogance that I'm right, you're wrong. I don't even want to listen. I mean, one of the telltale traits of pride is you're not teachable.
Yeah.
Proverbs says that arrogant people are not teachable. And how do you have a relationship if you're not teachable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's more about defending your ego
Yeah.
than solving the issue, clearly that's bad pride. And so you want to be repairing a relationship at all costs, and being able to admit, like we said before, being able to admit you're wrong instead of just wanting to flex.
Yeah, but not a doormat. So how would
Yeah.
you handle that part where I'm just going to be so humble, they're going to walk all over me? That's not what we're talking about, Daryl.
Yeah, no, because people will use. I've heard people who are non-Christians, even some Christians, use if a brother offends me, I turn the other cheek. And well, you're just supposed to keep turning your cheeks. If I offend you, just turn your cheek again. Listen, man, I only got 4 cheeks.
Yeah, there you go. And after the fourth one, I'm coming after you. Is that what you're saying?
You gotta listen. You gotta chill. I think there's a difference between just being arrogant and saying, man, I'm standing on the word of God. Hey, this is what it is. I'm standing on truth.
Right.
And I know you may not like it. And I understand. And I understand how that hurts you and or whatever. And maybe that offends you because a light offends darkness.
Yes.
Yes. So that may offend you. But man, I'm standing on truth and I'm not doing it in an arrogant way. I'm standing on the same truth that Jesus said. He is his word. I'm going to follow his word. The fine line becomes when it's all about your, like I said, whether it's your ego, whether it's your denomination, whether it's your team, when it's those kind of things, those things get in the way of solutions. So that's where you got to know the difference between. And then sometimes standing your ground is walking away.
Yeah.
Standing your ground is, you know what? We have to agree to disagree. I'm not here to try to convince you or persuade you into what truth looks like. Man, it's just not going to work. And I think you're responsible for that language to what you say to move on to the next thing. Man, we just don't agree. I hope we can come back to this later.
Yeah.
And then let's separate and part. And so, but not just be prideful and arrogant about it.
Yeah.
It's funny, you ever have this, I just speak the truth.
Yes.
The Bible doesn't say it. It says speak the truth in love. And sometimes people use truth as a club.
Absolutely.
You never win like that. Use diplomacy. We got to learn to be better communicators, especially when we're talking about even confrontation. Listen, we said earlier, when you try to do it even the right way, it can be hard, but it's a growing. We're all growing in this.
Well, the truth without love is a club, but love without the truth leads to all kinds of destruction.
That's good.
And so it's not one or the other; it's both. And so it's one of those things. I think so often, I think we got to pay attention to where we are in the argument many times, and it depends on what the topic is about.
Yeah.
But when I go from defending my idea to just defending myself, I know I've gotten to not a great place. Or how dare you, because I came up with it. Or and we can get there really quick. Or I've done this many. And so it's always making sure that we're talking about the actual thing.
Yeah.
When we haven't gone past it. Because the moment I don't like the fact that you disagree with me because I think you're going at my value, my worth, then my mindset's in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Because we've got to be able to talk about ideas. We've got to be able to talk through situations without us getting offended every time, thinking that our worth and everything is there. And so how do I keep pride at bay? I make sure I'm talking about what we're actually talking about.
Yeah. You know, and the other part, the second key is grace. You know, how do we have grace-filled conversations? You know, and the first part, I think about grace, we're all broken people.
Yes.
There's not a perfect person sitting here. And so two imperfect people having a relationship, there's going to be challenges in that. If we can just see that, I'm going to extend grace. Hey, you know what? They're having a bad day. They probably didn't mean that. I mean, we have to get to a point where that people aren't going to say things perfectly. They're not going to do things perfectly. Do we have enough grace to say, reset?
Yeah.
Can we start over in this conversation? I mean, grace to me is not. To me, when I think about grace in a conversation in my marriage, I don't bring things up from 5 years ago. Well, 5 years ago, when you're rehearsing the hurts, that's not going to get you anywhere. It doesn't mean that they don't need to be acknowledged, but when you keep repeating it and grace says, you know what, I got to walk in some. I got to give. I think Philippians it's in Colossians it says bear with one another. That means to put up with. That word in the Greek, I looked it up. It meant persevering difficult situations or people.
Yeah.
So where is the grace sometimes? Because we're not going to do it perfectly.
No.
It's good.
No. And we always got to look back at the grace that we've been given.
Yeah.
And I think that's always what we look back is how much has God forgiven us.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about this in between my message, but I think one of the biggest ways that God helps us reveal his grace for us is he gives us kids.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those things of like, I saw this the other day. It said basically, your kids are interesting because you love them and you care for them so much, but they constantly feel like you're trying to keep something away from them. Yeah. And it's like all you're trying to do is, and it's the same idea. It's like when we don't extend grace, we're probably taking our own grace for granted, or we haven't realized how much we've messed up.
Yeah.
And so it's always that forerunner thought of like, no, there should be a way back. Now, we're not talking about abuse. We're not talking about any of those things. But when it comes to arguments, when it talks to the conflict that we're talking about, if we're ever at such a heightened place that we wouldn't be okay for this to end in a good way, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Like we've got to have a level of grace that says, you know what, it may have gotten that way, but there's another chance.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. So one of the questions we got was, is there ever a situation where it's okay to not extend grace? So you just talked about some extreme circumstances, right? Like in terms of abuse or things like that. But
yeah, I mean, there's got to be boundaries set. When you said all you can say, when you've spoken the truth with love, and they're still pushing back and they're still not receiving, and the relationship is always turbulent and toxic. There's just times where you go, like you said earlier, I love you, but
we can't.
I'm kind of done here. I don't know where we can go in this relationship. You know.
Yeah, I would say
it doesn't always end with this happy ending. But we got to walk away, not bitter.
That's so
exactly.
true.
Yeah, and is there ever time you don't extend grace? And I would say the answer to that would be no, because grace is a lifestyle. So you're always extending grace, but extending grace doesn't mean that I'm extending access.
Yes, that's really good.
So I live in grace, but grace also means boundaries.
Yeah.
I've got to know what doors to close, what fences to close, to go, hey, this isn't working. This is, it's abusive. It is. Yeah. You won't listen to me. Yeah. I've got to know, hey, I can't give you access to this part of my life. Yep. And maybe we can work on reconciliation. Yeah. But boundaries, healthy boundaries says, hey, I've got to maneuver this in a different way. Yep. And so as long as we're being graceful, what God wants us to be. He doesn't want us to pick it up and put it down. He wants us to live as people of grace. So, yeah.
Henry Cloud, Boundaries. We mentioned it one of the other.
Yep.
That's a great book, great guideline for people for that.
And when you're living in grace, here's the other part. When you're living in grace, you could still bless somebody else.
Yeah.
Which can be a hard part.
Yeah.
Like you can live in grace and go, I won't run away from you when I see you at the grocery store walking down the aisle. Listen, God bless you. Nope, don't come talk to me. But God,
Yeah. Well, Jesus said, bless it.
God,
When men persecute you and insult you because of me, bless. You got to still, it's hard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Listen, difficult people are hard to extend grace to, but we have to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And grace sometimes is just going, you know what? We may not get this right now, but if they do want to come back and talk later on, we may talk. It doesn't mean we get access back.
Yeah.
But we are always open to the idea of let's figure this out.
You know what I've learned though, when you live in grace, and even though it didn't seem like it ended well, but if you ended well with
Yes.
grace for that person, it circles back.
Yep.
You see them circle back because they realize maybe over a year, months, they go, you know what? I was
didn't
being,
handle that
I'm
well.
going to
Yeah.
come back. And so grace always gives the door back, you know.
Yep.
It's good.
Good.
So, what about when somebody gets really defensive? That was one of the questions we got. How do we break down those walls? How do we have it end successfully? How do you take someone off of the defensive
Yeah.
and let them know that you're on the same page? I think for me in our marriage, I'm always the one to get defensive first, but
That's that Italian part of
that
you.
was, that was such humility.
Mamma mia.
Is that confessional? But something I had to learn, like for us, that it was me and him versus the world, me and him versus the problem. It
Yeah.
wasn't me
Right.
versus him. But,
That's good.
you know, sometimes people aren't as invested in solving a problem outside of their marriage. Obviously, we talked on previous episodes, like, you know, that is the non-negotiable, right? You're not going to
Right.
walk away no
Right.
matter how hard that communication or
Yeah.
you know, that those problems get. But what do you do to break down walls with someone that has some big walls up?
Go ahead.
I mean, I would say this. If you're helping them understand that I'm not saying you're this, but this is this is something you're doing, is separate their worth
Attacking
from
the person from the problem.
Yeah, I'm not going after your worth. I'm not going after anything. I'm not going after these things. I'm just pointing out something that you're doing. And so I think that's one of the things that causes us to be defensive right away is when somebody basically says, you are this. And so, and we've got to watch our own words in that because we can do that. But immediately, some people are immediately going to be defensive on things because maybe the thing that you're going after is something that they prided themselves in.
Yeah.
Or
they thought was
maybe
great. Yeah.
our delivery isn't good.
Right.
We think,
It could be.
why are they being so defensive? Well, we need to go back and go, hey, I notice you're defensive. I need to do this the right way. Help me know, how do I kind of reopen that conversation? Because a lot of times, sometimes we can trigger it.
Yeah.
But when they do it perfectly and they're still defensive,
Yep.
there is another point of that whole, okay, we're kind of.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's
Call it out.
if it's something that's repeatable, like someone has always been defensive, whatever that looks like, I would say change the setting, change the method,
That's good.
write it down, and then ask better questions.
Yeah.
It could be, it's always in this room. It's always after this thing. So you got to be honest enough to look at that, man, what's happening? I talked about my message last weekend in listening. It's sometimes we just don't sit down long enough to listen to what someone's saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're just getting ready to respond. I mean, I know they're going to do this, so we got stuff loaded up in the chamber. Chill. Just, hey, what triggered this thing? Was it what I said? Was it what I did? Was it? I need to know what it is because we keep going through this cycle. And if we're not humble enough to ask better questions, we're going to find ourselves fighting the same wars over and over again. And so some of that defensiveness is just, let me just find out. And allowing that person time to answer that question. Because they may not be able to tell you then.
Yeah.
Hey, I keep understanding that every time we do this, you respond like this, or I respond this way. Can we go away, maybe meet tomorrow and talk about this? And what are 3 things that really trigger you or whatever that is when we talk about this topic so that we can really tackle those things together? So that lets you know, man, this is a union. I'm doing Ephesians where I'm endeavoring to keep the peace with you.
Right.
I'm working on this. So, yeah.
And you made a good point about writing it down.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you know you're going to have another conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You write a note saying, "Hey, I know we're going to have another one of these conversations," and kind of prepare them. Hey, I want to do this right. I want to and give them a little heads up so they can maybe be ready to navigate more. I don't know. Just sometimes when people get together and they're not ready to respond yet, maybe give them a little heads up. I don't know.
We all come in with our preconceived notions about what the other person's going to say.
Yeah.
I would say this in work environment more than any others. I've gone like, hey, this is not going the way that I thought it would. I think maybe we have two different ideas of what we're fighting. Can you tell me what you think I'm either upset about or what I don't like? And then when they say it, they go, oh no.
Yeah.
Like it's because we can do this. We can come in with an idea of what's going to be said or the reason they're going to say it. And then we add it to what they're saying. And we get up with something that's absolutely not true. Yeah. And so I think part of like that gray side is going, I'm willing to say I've been misheard or maybe you're hearing something I haven't said before. Let's get to the root of the problem. That's good. And not just argue around the outside like two people that have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's what grace does. It says, hey, let's start over. Let's give it another try. But changing our method, is really important sometimes. If it's not working, you got to change the method.
You keep doing the same thing, getting the same result. Insanity. It's like, switch it up. Go talk outside.
Yeah.
Go
get some sun.
You need some vitamin D. Go talk outside. Man, I mean, Tracy and I would do that sometimes when the kids were younger. We're like, no, let's not talk in the bedroom. Let's go for a walk. Or let's go sit in the car. Or let's go to your mother's house or something. Just we need a different environment altogether. So just to change the setting. So
and this is in any relationship. You're going to struggle with in the marketplace. You got a coworker. You're just not. Yeah. Man, be the light. Be the example and say, man, I don't know what's happened, but I feel like our relationship's deteriorated. I want to first say, what do I need to own? Yeah. Help me see what I haven't seen. Man, that so disarms people. Yeah. When you can show humility and grace, you disarm people to really want to have a good conversation.
Absolutely. That's good.
Any closing thoughts? I know between the messages and the podcast to follow up, this has been a masterclass in communication.
Ooh, masterclass. Yeah. Wow. I thought we were still in middle school when I did the fresh fart thing, but
Well, go back a couple weeks and listen to the.
Yeah, that was a couple weeks ago. They don't really want to hear that one now.
No, we've been killing it on communication, and so I would last thing I would say is don't run away from hard conversations. Hard conversations are going to create a beautiful relationship if you handle them well, handle them with grace and humility. Man, they're going to grow you in ways that you could never have imagined. So
it's worth the fight. It really is. It's worth it. Yeah.
Yeah. The longer you wait, the more it's going to take. So we have a choice. We can continue to go the way we're going, and it's going to be bigger. Or we can choose to deal with it right now and figure out how to walk forward from here.
And write that letter or that email and go, man, I wish I'd have known this. Then write them a letter. I say, I just watched a podcast and I realized I was doing some things wrong and most people will eventually soften and receive that from you.
Yeah, that's good. The quote of the week. Yeah. The longer you take, what'd you say? The longer you wait, the more it's going to take.
Ooh.
Yeah. I made that up in that moment.
I like the access one. Doesn't give them access, right? That was a good. I forget what you said, but
yes, giving them grace doesn't give them access.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yes,
mine was fresh fart. So it was a few weeks ago.
You ever said something in a message? They're like, "Say it again." I'm like, I don't remember what I just said. It just came up.
Let me run that back.
That's part of the hangover, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Okay, and the biggest question on the table is your shirt, Pastor Craig. It's just amazing.
Go Bucks for next year. Next year, we're ready to go.
Epic shirt. Yeah. Well, we're about to have our second round of Yeomans, so we are going to dive in, have some wings, hangover burger. Thank you guys for being with us, and we will see you next week.